What's up? You're watching Cheap Seats. I'm Riley. That's Graydon. And today we're doing our power rankings following week 15 of the NFL. The playoffs are right around the corner.
We are getting down to it, man. And teams are getting decimated.
Yeah, I went 13-3, by the way.
I went perfect.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I got every game right, just as promised.
What was your record?
It was worse than yours.
Okay.
I lost my record sheet, and I was more dialed in on notes.
Really?
Yeah, I think I was 11-5.
That's a really generous, I feel like, for you. That's super, yeah, I was hoping that we could keep track of this stuff. Somebody crunch the numbers, drop it downstairs. We got to keep track. We got to, do that for the end of the season. We don't have time to do all of that. Also, I did move on in the fantasy playoffs, which is awesome.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't notice because I was on bye week. Me and my team were in Cabo, and then I did check in on my team, and it was a really squandered great week.
Yeah,
I had
also
3 players score 30.
Chris, our friend Chris was visiting, and he lost.
Oh, we didn't even talk about it once.
Yeah, I know. He lost. And so now you're playing our friend Jim.
Oh, that'll be easy.
And I'm playing Nick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nick Teeling.
Yeah, we made it to the Final Four.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Riley's first year.
Scary Terry really helped me out.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin was awesome. Aaron Jones helped me out. Yeah, it was just a fantastic week all
I'm proud
around.
of you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
If we did encourage you to kind of follow your first regular season of the NFL, this is the time of year where it sucks sometimes. You know, we might have encouraged you to root for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks ago, you might have said, boys chose me a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm. It's looking rough. They're decimated on defense. David Montgomery probably out for the season. That hurts a lot.
Ayla McNeil. Their best interior rush. Their second best corner, Carlton Davis, broke his jaw. These aren't it's not like guys sprained their ankles or a dislocated elbow. There's a torn ACL, a torn MCL, a broken jaw, and a fractured leg for Khalil Dorsey.
Yeah.
That's like battle. That's like war shit. That sucks.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell did go on 97.1 The Ticket, which is our local Detroit sports radio yesterday or this morning, actually, and gave what could only be equated to a General Patton style speech. Mm-hmm. He said, I could name everyone on the defense that's still got the dog in them. And we're going to put the best 11 out there on the field, and we're going to win games any way we have to win them. If we're going to give up 700 yards to the other team and win by 1, we'll do that. If we're going to do this on offense, we'll do that. And it was like a 10-minute addressing the fan base and the radio, because yesterday on the radio was everyone calling in being like, well, it was fun. Good while it lasted, just so quick to resort back to what they've known for the last 25 years. Everyone being like, fun run, but yep, that's it. I'm not quite that doom and gloom, but I do think those injuries open up a window for really everyone else. The Packers have more hope now after a huge win against Seattle. Green Bay is the Packers, right?
Yeah, they're the Packers, yeah.
The Vikings, solid win.
Mm-hmm.
They're healthy, too. They look good. Everyone in the NFC is kind of... The Eagles, I called it last week. I said there's nothing to worry about the pass game, and they came out with intention and threw a great game. I think it's 22 for 25, 298, couple tuds. Devontae Smith, best game.
And Jalen Hurts with them diamonds dancing.
Yeah, what did I say?
Oh my God!
Someone said those diamonds are doing the bachata.
Yeah. And I saw one girl just quote tweeted and said, "Why don't y'all's chains do this? Why do my boyfriend's chains not do this?"
Jalen's are fake. That's why they're so bright. My real diamonds don't glisten like that.
Yeah, this is hitting. Yeah, if you can. I'm kind of doing a Jalen Hurts thing a little bit.
Let's talk about some of the bad teams real quick before we get too much into the playoff picture and restructure. The current draft of the top 3, Vegas moved into number 1. With a clutch loss there. New York Giants at number 2.
Yeah, both of those teams have not won a game in the past 70 days, and the Bears have only won 1 game in the last 70 days, and it was in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing stats into it.
Thank you. Shedeur Sanders seen at the Heisman ceremony throwing passes to Malik Neighbors in the street. Mm-hmm. People are starting to speculate about that.
Maybe they're just friends.
Yeah, it seems like they're good buddies. And the New England's at number 3.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
That's that.
Yeah.
Other bad teams, the Browns. Jameis kind of seems like this is over.
Maybe.
He got benched during this game. His speeches can only do so much, and in the last, 3 games, you could say those turnovers were very detrimental.
I will say this, though. Jerry Jeudy, one of the only 4 wide receivers in the NFL right now with over 1,000 receiving.
Thank you. That was my next note, was the biggest bright spot for the Browns and for the job of Andrew Berry, who's our GM, and the job of Kevin Stefanski, and honestly, Ken Dorsey, the new offensive coordinator. Jerry Jeudy is worth the money. We traded for him and then signed him immediately to an extension that everyone thought was too much money. He could finish 3rd. He's only about 50 yards behind like Amon-Ra and whoever's in 3rd. He could finish 3rd. He could finish as a second-team All-Pro.
I mean, he's a number 1 wide receiver in the league, and a lot of people didn't think that he was a clear, actual number 1 on any team, and I think he is. That's one good thing.
It makes the Amari Cooper trade look more reasonable. It makes the re-signing of him look more reasonable. That's for fans of shitty teams, and I've been a fan of the Browns my whole life. You always look to those top 5 statistic leaders in any category, and to see Miles up there still only a sack and a half behind from the lead, or 2 behind from the lead, and to see Jerry Jeudy up there, that like is what keeps the faith alive, which is nice.
Yeah, and Josh Allen came out and said he would be open to being traded to the Browns, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, Saquon said he really wants to play for the Browns next year.
Said Cleveland is the reason.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said he loves rock and roll so much that as long as he can be within proximity of the Hall of Fame, he would probably die for that team.
Totally. And Fred Warner said Cleveland rocks and then sang the song, which I thought was cool. There's a lot of players who want to play for Cleveland next year.
Luke Kuechly and Andrew Luck said they'd come out of retirement.
No way.
Yeah.
I heard Jeremy Shockey wanted to come back and catch a few passes.
He's a racist. I've been over this.
I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to have fun. It's not exciting to watch the NFL right now. Like it is, but it's not. Like,
it's kind of sad and
like
scary.
you just kind of like wait until the playoffs. That's really, and it feels like we have it locked in now. Like who's making it?
Yeah, I mean, there's still that slim hope for the Bengals if they go 3-0, and if either the Chargers or one other team go 0-3, and then they need a combination of a few other things. There's that slim hope there, but I'll tell you what doesn't give me hope in the Bengals is Joe Burrow saying "fuck that" to Zach Taylor on the sideline.
Saying it's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah,
and then somebody conveniently walks in front. It's like an episode of The Simpsons, like walks in front where he says, some people are saying that he's saying "send me" and then somewhere, and I'm like, and a bunch of people are like, he said Seattle. I was like, no. Yeah, I think, and I said this before, and I'm half joking, but I legitimately am like, I don't think it's out of the question that we see Joe Burrow in a San Francisco 49ers jersey.
When? Next season, right?
Yeah,
because they can't trade him now.
Yeah, next season then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about the business part of it, but I'm like, Joe Burrow in a 49ers jersey makes sense. I think they either do a 1-year deal with Brock Purdy or just get rid of him. I don't think that they're going to sign him for like what he will probably deserve somewhere else. You know, like you need $60 million to sign Brock Purdy right now.
I think Tennessee signs Brock Purdy.
You think so?
That makes sense to me.
I could see that.
I think Will Levis is going to retire. He kind of has to.
Oh, yeah.
He threw 3 interceptions and got benched for Mason Rudolph this week. That was rough.
And he got ran over trying to make a tackle.
He did get run over.
We got another, we got a beginning of the season type of Will Levis image where there's a lot of motion blur on it, and he's just like, whoa, in like some crazy position, which I thought was cool.
I'm looking forward into next season. Has Aaron Rodgers played good enough these last couple weeks to ensure his remaining tenure with the Jets?
Not with the Jets, no.
No?
That is already, that relationship has soured.
Yeah, they do need a GM and a coach, and I find it hard to believe that 2 new hires would be like, let's keep the 40-year-old. That's not good for your job. But he did look really good the last 2 weeks. He's looked great.
Right, and there's not a lot to smile about in New Jersey, obviously.
With the radioactive material.
With all the drones and radioactive material, it has people questioning for the first time the possibility of intelligent life in New Jersey. Sorry, I've been watching. I feel like I don't know if I want to
Is that a stolen bit or no?
No, I came up with that, but it's almost like if I've contemplated the idea of making like a packet or even like just doing a proof of concept, you and me.
Okay.
And we become the new like Colin Jost and Michael Che. Like we do kind of like a weekend update, like because they got to get rid of them soon. They're getting old.
I don't think I could be black.
Oh no, I'd be Michael Che.
Oh, sick. All right, cool.
Yeah,
so I get ScarJo.
Yeah, we're not gonna like take their whole
Booyah, baby!
Yeah, I'm
you
saying,
doubters. That's everyone in Swanton that didn't believe in me.
Like I feel like if we had like
ScarJo,
if we had like a news topic show where we just kind of do one-liners about stuff that's going on in the news, we could come up with stuff as good, if not better, than the SNL team. Just you and me.
Yeah, if I went home to Scarlett Johansson, dude, I could write anything.
And we'll bring in one writer. I say we bring in like Ro Ramden.
Kronk.
Kronk?
Yeah.
He can't even spell. Let's not get him to write.
Yeah.
You know?
He's funny though, dude. He's been telling me stuff in the break room that is just drop your drawers kind of funny.
Wait, drop your drawers.
Yeah.
Do we have a break room?
Yeah, we got a break room.
I don't even know
where
where
I
that
keep
is.
Kronk.
Really?
Yeah.
Kronk isn't here.
He's in the break room.
Oh, he's in the break room. Okay.
He's
I don't know.
breakdancing.
I don't know where the break room is, but
all right.
I
So
say, you, me, Ro Ramden, we do like a proof of concept, our own show on Hivemind, where we do like a news thing that's all kind of jokes and stuff, and Ro and you and me write all the stuff, and then maybe we take those clowns' jobs.
Can we talk football?
Yeah, that was a football joke. Well, kind of. It was about New Jersey, but
what? So Aaron Rodgers no go in the Jets. Where's he go then?
No. He's gonna get played for the Jags or some shit.
Oh yeah, he would go to Florida.
Yeah.
So that leads me into my second one. Mac Jones didn't play good enough this week to keep his job, and he's not primed to be Sam Darnold 2.0 or bridge quarterback in a place like New York or Vegas next year.
That's okay. Are you asking that as a question? Because beforehand you said I think Mac Jones.
No, that was I was teeing you up for a fight. This is a question. Let's start small. Has Mac Jones looked good enough in the last week or a couple weeks to be a bridge quarterback in somewhere for one of the drafted guys?
Absolutely not.
No.
Not even close. There are better backups around the league.
Okay.
Like Mac Jones, like, sure, he played fine this week. The 2 weeks before that, he had 0 touchdowns.
He's in a Doug Peterson
2
offense.
Interception. I mean, no, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's not. And you were like, oh, he did the Riz face. His name's McCorkle.
He did do the Riz face.
But his name is McCorkle.
He had a spin move.
You don't get to do the Riz face and be named McCorkle.
He did it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, I had the feeling, high drafted quarterback who failed in one place. He's just got a lot of comps to Sam Darnold. And I feel like if you put Mac Jones in an O'Connell-esque or a new wave offense with weapons, I think it could succeed. And I know neither of those places are the Giants or Las Vegas, but
yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see
that's
it.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Houston's back.
I mean,
they won the division.
Okay.
And CJ Stroud still looks bad. Something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong with CJ, man.
Yeah, something is actually wrong with him, and I don't love it. Because I really like when he played well last year, but even in a win, they kind of did it on the defense's back. He threw for 138 yards. Joe Mixon got banged up, did come back, but I don't know. For a win that clinched your division, it still looks sketchy.
Yeah, I don't get it at all, really, with the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They look like the weakest playoff team going in either side of things. I
would counter with Washington.
No, I think Washington looked much better.
They should have lost.
I mean, they should have lost, but they looked better than the Texans, in my opinion. They I get it. Nico Collins is fantastic, and they have a deep wide receiver room if everybody was healthy.
Dangerous in the return game this week.
Totally. But then I'm the connection between Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin is much better. And when you bring Brian Robinson back, that's been electric.
Just only putting up 20 points in New Orleans and then giving up that final drive to the Rat Man.
Mm.
And then, obviously they go for 2 because their season, whatever.
Yeah.
That was right there. If they lose that game, everyone's like, Washington's dead. Cliff fell off the cliff right when we expected it, yada, yada. But
the Saints defense looked great, actually. They looked pretty good, just considering the fact that you had Jake Hayner in there.
Yeah.
And he was throwing, the worst passes you ever saw.
Yeah, and he was zesty.
What was that?
Did you see his, when they announced him as the starter, his, team photos were
oh, yeah.
People were not me converting on 3rd down.
yeah, you sent that to me.
I
I get that, but I'm just saying, they played Jake Hayner. They should have just started Spencer Rattler,
yeah.
who obviously played terrible against the Broncos.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not,
Yeah.
he wasn't in there. He was making like these fucking dial 911 type of passes. Like, oh no, that type of shit. But then like when he went back in there, you're like, oh, much more competent quarterback. Yeah. And maybe if they played him the whole game, it looks different. But the Saints defense played pretty well, and they've been good even in those bad stretches for the Saints. They've been like the one thing you can kind of lean on. So I don't know.
Kansas City, where are we at there?
I'll get to it.
Well, that's my next point.
I'll get to it in my power rankings.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the injury right on time? Nothing?
Mm-mm.
I will say they look really bad on offense, and they did just activate Hollywood Brown into the practice squad, and maybe that's a jolt they can get come playoffs. I don't know. I feel like they are crazy to start Patrick Mahomes in the next couple weeks. I think Carson Wentz should start, but we'll see what happens there. That's all I'll say. I won't ruin it for you. Baltimore went ballistic against one of the worst teams we've ever seen. Anything to talk about there?
Not really. Yeah. It's just like it's one of the worst teams. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, Lamar had 5 touchdowns, only 4 incompletions. He did fumble on the first snap of the game. That was funny. And he did almost lose his draws on that one scramble. And he said he felt the wind in his butt.
Yeah. He was holding it too, and I was watching that, and they were like, "Oh, is he injured?" And they're like, "Wait a minute, I think he's just holding his pants up." And they like were trying to figure it out, and I was like, "I'm happy that he's not injured." I thought that was really funny.
I know Josh Allen's off of a ridiculous game and a ridiculous last 2 weeks, 10 touchdowns, like no turnovers in the last 2 weeks. But there is a conversation still to be had about Lamar or Josh Allen. Lamar like leads him in completion percentage and yards. He threw for 5 touchdowns this week. He's a better runner. He's a more accurate passer. He's probably, I don't know. I don't think it's as foregone. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Josh Allen will win the MVP, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's a better quarterback. I think if I had a team right now, I'd probably want Lamar over Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that I feel like it's a strange thing that Lamar is kind of always given that third spot despite winning 2 MVPs and Josh Allen's 1-0, but
and having pretty much the same and if not better playoff record after the first round than Josh Allen.
I don't think that's true at all.
It is. Yeah. I think they have the same exact divisional record.
Yeah, well, my point basically is this. It's like Lamar might have better numbers this year, might end that way. If the Ravens go 3-0 to end the season and the Bills drop 2 or Josh Allen looks like he looked in that one game where it was like the worst quarterbacking of the entire season in one game. It's like, yeah, then maybe Lamar has a shot, but right now, a 9-5 team, that's just not enough.
Yeah, I don't think he has a shot at MVP. I just think like there needs to be more of a conversation of like who's a better player.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but I don't know. Josh Allen has looked pretty ridiculous, and I will say Josh Allen has less established and reliable weapons on offense than Lamar does. Lamar has Derrick Henry, and he has a clear number 1 receiver in Zay Flowers. And Josh Allen, I mean, James Cook is great, but he's not Derrick Henry.
Good. Yeah, he played really
And then also, he's got like Khalil Shakir, who I think is fantastic and very underrated.
Really emerged.
Is not really a clear number 1 going into the season. They were like, he doesn't have anybody. And then you got Amari, who is getting older and is kind of unreliable. I think he's great. He's a fantastic receiver. But like, what Josh Allen manages to do with so little, I will say, I think I commend in this season, if we're going most valuable player, the Bills without Josh Allen aren't even a playoff team, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, neither are the Ravens, I don't think.
Without Lamar?
Yeah. And I will say this. While their opponents were lopsided this week, I don't know how much better Detroit's decimated defense is than the Giants. Like
Giants defense is pretty.
I think like
pretty good.
Offensively, like they both faced kind of similar opponents this week. It's just that the Lions have an amazing offense and were able to stay in that game.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Lamar looked really, really good this week, and it did kind of revive some faith in that team for me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Your boys or Tony's boys, Denver, big win this week.
Why'd you say my boys first?
I thought you're a believer. That's why. And he threw for a whopping 138 this week. He looked great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they didn't look fantastic, but
they played the turnover machine.
Yeah.
They played Anthony Richardson. They got to just keep taking the ball away.
Yeah, their defense looked awesome. But a lot of defenses look great against the Colts.
Pat Surtain hurt himself on his interception of the game, though. That's a little reason for concern there. But Bo Nix, super efficient in the red zone. I will say that defense gave him a lot of short fields. It's kind of one of those games where, he didn't have the opportunity to throw for 300 yards, but he did throw for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which is really great. Last couple ones here. Tampa Bay, huge fucking win.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest fucking win of the week.
Oh, yeah.
They gave it to him
40 to 17 or something.
They gave him to him fuck style.
Yeah, they fucked him.
They fucked up the Chargers.
They fucked up the Chargers.
They fucked them up.
I feel like they exposed the Chargers more than I still that definitely gives me more faith in the Bucs.
Yes.
I've had faith in the Bucs for a while now as the team out of that division. But even more than my faith being restored in the Bucs, it's really like, the Chargers kind of suck.
Yeah, they're limping into the playoffs and they have like an 86% chance of making it. They're like pretty much in the playoffs. I've kind of had the belief that if they can get to the playoffs healthy, Justin Herbert's a scary guy to play nonetheless, but it looks like they're getting banged up. It looks like they're getting exposed. I'm like more scared of the Bucs in the lower whatever, and they won't even be a lower seed. They'll be a top 4 seed because they'll win the division. But I'm more scared of the Bucs than I would be of the Chargers on the other side. And yeah, last year I got Green Bay, huge win in Seattle. Geno gets hurt, terrible loss for Seattle. Josh Jacobs looked like the 3rd best running back in the league.
Yep, he did a I forget what their stadium's called, National Bank or some shit.
Sure.
He did a National Bank leap, U.S. Bank leap, which is awesome.
He jumped into the stadium.
Aaron Jones did that. See, I fucked it up. Aaron Jones used to play for the Packers, and he did a leap last night in the Vikings game.
Okay.
I messed it up. Josh Jacobs was fantastic and is on my fantasy team as well.
Unbelievable. And Green Bay didn't give up a sack. I think I was praising Seattle's defense not only a week ago. They were kind of looking like they were ready to take that division from everyone. And now with that loss, the Rams, who won the ugliest game of the week, and no one's going to say that they were great or whatever, but they did win, and now they're in first place in that division.
Yeah, the Rams, that was weird, though.
It was hideous.
It was, like, to me, I'm like, I don't know how you do that, where you score 6 touchdowns and then you score 0.
Yeah, I mean, we both said they had exhausting weeks before. You go into a short week at this time of year is harder. It's 20 times harder than going into a short week in week 4.
And they're about to do the shortest weeks ever because of where Christmas falls.
Fucking Christmas.
It's like a bunch of teams are playing like 2 games in 4 days or 5 days.
Yeah, get ready for a lot more injuries.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
But the Rams, Puka Nacua looks like a beast. He said he was horny in his routes. He said a bunch of crazy shit. That connection's brewing there. Cooper Kupp turned into a fat dead guy and didn't catch a single ball. But it was wet, and you got to remember that those West Coast babies out there don't play in the wet.
Yeah.
So,
well, the southern West Coast, they don't play in the wet. But I liked it because Cooper Kupp was on the opposing team in fantasy.
Yep.
0 points starting there. And then also, this fucking joker started Jawan Jennings and had Malik Neighbors on the bench. Can you believe it? And I had Puka starting, and so I did pretty good. But
that's great. Saquon also got banged up in that game, despite the passing game coming back.
And in that game, he got banged up in the Rams-Niners game?
He got banged up in the locker room.
How the hell?
He got banged out in the locker room.
Oh, shit.
Though he's only held to 75 yards, it looks like Eric Dickerson's record may be out of reach now. Got a leg injury. If they sew up their division, they are still chasing the 1 seed with the banged up Lions. There's reason for him to play, but I don't know. Not all is fixed in Philadelphia. Everyone's dealing with injuries. Let's get into our top 10s. This was the hardest week for me to make my top 10.
Oh, I did it in like 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's great, man. You're thinking about starting Weekend Update and becoming Michael Che.
I'd be sick, dude.
Yeah. I'm trying to crack the best top 10 here, and I know I didn't do it, but this is how it shook out. Number 10, I put the Bucs back in, baby. Baker, baby. You're, Santa, baby. Baker Mayfield to Cleveland.
Back
Santa,
to Cleveland.
Baby. Send Baker back to us. Yeah, that would be great, but he's not. He's the king of Florida right now. He's awesome. He looks electric. Everybody's getting healthier down there. Bucky Irvin is legit. Mike Evans isn't going to hit 1,000 this year. It's sad that that's going to come true. He's at 749.
He could do it.
They're going to sew that division up probably in the next week, and I don't think he's going to play.
3 games?
I don't know.
You don't think he's gonna play all 3?
I don't think so. Yeah. That's what he did catch 159 this week, which is crazy. Yeah, they look legit, dude. That defense is good enough. And Baker's just gutsy and a beast. And I think they have enough weapons. Everybody's getting healthy. I like what Boyles is doing down there.
Bulls.
Yeah. I got a Bulls on my butt. I got a boil on my butt.
Oh, yeah, then that doesn't even make sense.
Got it. It hurts to shit. Yeah. Number 9, I put the stinky old Rams here. I do think after last week, they beat Buffalo. We all said this is like the sneakiest, best offense that could get into the playoffs. Don't care how they won this last week on a short week in a rain game. They're now in the lead of their division. They could secure a top 4 seed. This is the biggest jump in playoff standings we've seen like all year. This was a 4-position swing. They weren't in the playoffs, and now they're number 4.
Yeah.
Huge swing. Seattle with the Geno injury, unfortunately, they don't scare me anymore now. Like Sam Howell's not going to get it done. If these teams were both still 8-6 with Geno there, I'd say let's see how the rest of the season shakes out. But now it's the Rams to lose. Arizona did win, whatever. They're the craziest team ever.
You have to admit, that New Jersey joke would play really well in that context, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, especially because it wasn't written up here or anything. Like if we had a teleprompter, and we figure out the timing of the jokes ahead of time, and then we kind of deliver them, and we really get to nail home those punchlines, I feel like we could do it, man. Yeah.
Number 8. Pittsburgh Steelers. Talk about getting exposed. They played a strictly cover 1 man defense, and the guy that everyone said was leading one of the worst passing attacks in the NFL absolutely picked them apart. They gave up a ton of points to Joe Burrow doing the same thing. I think when Pittsburgh comes across a Kansas City, a Buffalo, even Baltimore in the playoffs, if they're ballsy enough, which Mike Tomlin seems to be, to just run press coverage on everyone, they're going to get rocked. And TJ Watt got banged up. The rush isn't there that you need to play that strict of man, so something's got to change on the defense for them. And Russell kind of looked like he took another step back against Philly's defense, which we do love. They got scary corners and everything.
I think you should have taken one more step back to avoid getting sacked.
Well done, man. You are sharp. You are Michael Che to my Scarlett Johansson.
I feel like you still got to be Colin.
I really want to be ScarJo.
Okay.
I'd like to be her. Steelers, big bad week for them. I picked them in that game, and that one hurts.
That one hurts. I get it.
Yeah. Next up, it's weird. They're second in the division to the team that's below them. But they have Lamar Jackson. They have Derrick Henry. Bateman played a really great game, talking shit to the Giants fans. Yeah, they played the Giants, but this defense was able to get some pressure and force a couple turnovers.
Yeah, forced a couple turnovers from Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito?
Or
not Drew Lock. It's Tim
DeVito
Boyle.
and Tim Boyle.
Yeah, sorry. But I'm saying, that's what I mean. It's like the shitty quarterbacks. Of course, you can force pressure on them.
Lamar Jackson looks amazing. And I wish we would have gotten to see his butt. Up next, Packers. I'm back on the Pack train. They look super efficient. They have not turned the ball over. Josh Jacobs is when you see a running back getting this kind of fuel and legs under him at this time of year is really scary. It reminds me of 2020 Nick Chubb. Everybody else is getting banged up. Saquon's getting banged up. Maybe overusage there for Sirianni during the season. That's something we can talk about. Derrick Henry, not blowing the doors off right now. Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson even. Those 3 are the next in line that kind of look like the juice is flowing a little quicker in the backfield for them. And the defense is very creative in Green Bay. Jordan Love getting off-schedule plays to everyone. I like it. Right in front of them, their divisional rivals, the Vikings. They've just keep proving every doubter wrong. Talk about a sophisticated defense that's going on there. Really, really good. They did play the do-nothing Bears, so it's not a lot to take away from that game. But Addison, Justin Jefferson, and Sam Darnold seem to have this love triangle going on that's I don't know, it's hot. It's really hot.
I'm gonna real quick do this.
What?
Just touching the table.
Oh, your fingers are really wrinkly. I don't want you to touch me.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. Right in front of the Vikings. Talk about the do-nothings. I don't know. I wanted to put them at 6. I wanted to put them right in front of Baltimore. The offense is just pathetic. DeAndre Hopkins, talk about seeing his ass. Did you see that? His whole pants got pulled down. He showed his ass in Cleveland. If we had a guy that didn't throw as many picks as Jameis, yeah, the Browns could have really won that game.
You mean if the Lord had delivered Jameis
from the pick
sixes?
They gave up big plays. Jerome Ford ran a 62-yard touchdown. They weren't able to continuously put drives together against a pretty banged-up Browns defense. Patrick Mahomes' high ankle sprain in December that we get every year happened again. He's played through a lot worse in the past, I think, but he did sit down. They're going to lose him for at least a game or two if they're smart, and I think chemistry-wise, that's the biggest thing to worry about. If Hollywood Brown comes back in, he's missing out on these reps that are going to be crucial. Carson Wentz is capable, whatever. I don't know. I don't believe in them. They freak me out, but they just keep fucking winning. So here we go. Right in front of them, a fall from grace. Sucks. The Lions fall from number one, strictly based off injuries. The offense looked amazing. They had like 28 plays of 20 yards or more. Everybody, I mean, Laporta caught for 100 yards. Amon-Ra caught for almost 200 yards. Tim Patrick keeps looking like a great red zone target.
He's now number one in odds for comeback player of the year.
Timmy?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
At least on one book that I looked at, I was like, what? Right away? Like, he just had one good game, but...
2 good games, back-to-back. He's got 3 touchdowns 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He's awesome. He's super humble, gritty guy. He's like, he's a Juwan Jennings kind of type character that a big physical wide receiver who blocks and is great in the red zone. You love, but the loss of Demo really hurts. That's a critical dynamic part of that offense is having the inside and outside rushing. If it all gets put on Jahmyr Gibbs as a fantasy owner, I'm happy, but I don't like that. It's going to be more games of Jared throwing 50 plus times. And we've seen in the past, he can make some mistakes when that happens. So, and the defensive injuries have gone too far. They came into this one with the most defensive players on IR, and then they lose their best interior guy. They lose their second best corner and another corner. It's bad. Everybody's kind of like, Aiden, can you quicken it up or get back out there? And that's probably not going to happen till the Super Bowl. If they make it there, I'd be scared. Team in front of them is who I would be afraid of. Philadelphia Eagles, the passing game is back. Per Saquon being okay. This defense is healthy and electric. Not that I trust Sirianni as a game manager. I just think to have that quick adversity of, star wide receiver mad at quarterback and come out the next game and just kind of show one of these, put your diamonds on, sit down and say, is that what y'all wanted? That's like a great mojo for a team at this point in the season. They're kind of scary. They're super scary. And at number one, I got the Bills. If he's going to keep playing like that, Dan Campbell, I know he's so risky and he's like known for doing insane shit, but there's a reason he kicked an onside kick at 12 minutes. It's because he had the fear of God put into him by Josh Allen. He said, I can't give the ball back to that guy. We'll never stop him. He said, I don't care if we give it to him at our 30 or their 20. It won't matter because he's going to score either way. We might as well try and get it. A 7% chance of trying to get it. Josh Allen's like the only guy that can really freak you out that much. I don't know. I think that they're the best. And with James Cook running the way he did, I know he was running over guys that got signed off couches this week, but that first touchdown run, they were trying to tackle him by his hair, and he just kept going. They're sweet, man. Keon Coleman came back from injury. Kincaid's playing really tough. Defense obviously isn't playing great, but I think, you activate a couple of those veterans in playoff situations and they'll do just enough. This is where I'm at. I'm not stoked about it. I thought it was a crazy reshuffling week, but that's what I got.
Okay. Yeah. I got a pretty similar one with a few key differences. So
Okay.
I'll pop through them really, really quick. All right, Tony, let's pull them up. Number 10. I got the Broncos here. And this is mostly just because, it's just an eye test thing. To me, I feel like they're a competent enough playoff team that in the AFC, they could kind of upset somebody.
Sure.
I just feel like they're a coin flip team. You don't know exactly what you're going to get with them, but when you do get a good showing from the Broncos, I'd be scared of that because I do think they have a lot of, really, really strong pieces, especially on defense, but on offense, we're starting to see it a little bit more. And although Bo Nix didn't have a fantastic week this week, I do like him as a Sean Payton coached quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to get stronger as the playoffs approach too. I just feel like that their momentum is headed that way. They're learning to play more as a team. I like Sean Payton as a coach, especially in playoff situations. We've seen him do it before. A lot of coaches on this list we have not seen do it that way before.
Totally.
So, all right, number 9, Bucks. Yep, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
He's
awesome. It's awesome
just
to see them do it. I can't wait for the docuseries about his huge comeback story and in terms of his whole entire career in the NFL. I think that's going to be awesome because he's just like, he's one of those guys who like, he slipped up, he made mistakes on and off the field at the beginning of his career. And I mean, the Browns definitely fumbled by giving up on him so quick. But
what did he do off the field?
Oh, just that whole thing of like in press conferences, he was like, he was just like talking shit and being like a dick, you know? He's not a dick now, I don't think. He seems like a good guy. And I like that whole thing that they did where they made him another guy and had him tour the facility with the Bucks fans.
That's awesome. And
then he like goes to throw the football and they're like, "Oh shit, this guy can fucking throw it." And he's like, "Oh, I got a bum knee." Yeah, I thought that was fucking sick. So yeah, that's the Bucks.
Go Bucks.
All right, number 8. The Ravens.
Whoa.
Yeah, what? We'll see. Okay, they got some magic left in them for sure, but I was more impressed by the other teams above them on this list. It's mostly just like, we got to see what happens these last 3 weeks and see how they look. Because although, Lamar and Josh might have similar stats in the playoffs that you pointed out to me, like Lamar is not a battle-tested, that's like his one thing. Yeah. It's like he's won 2 MVPs, still never been to a Super Bowl.
This will be his chance, though, because I think he's only played 1 wild card game since being in the league. Every time they make the playoffs, they win the division.
Yeah.
And so this is his chance to, maybe get that early. Maybe he gets the Broncos first round. And he, builds some momentum, beating the shit out of a little bit of a worse team.
How?
What?
How would he get the Broncos?
Well, they both would be wild card teams.
Yeah, they wouldn't play each other.
That's what wild card teams do.
No, they don't.
Who do they play?
They play the division winners.
Division winners get buys.
Only one division winner gets a bye.
You're right, the best.
It's 2 versus 7,
2-7,
3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5.
Could Baltimore end up playing Pittsburgh in the first round?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's set up right now, is they end up doing that. It'll be like Bills versus the Chargers and the either Ravens or Broncos. It's really about that little thing. So,
yeah. Well, either way, getting the extra playoff game might be a good thing for Lamar this year.
Yeah, we'll see. Or they'll play the Texans like they did in the second round last year. So, all right. And number 7, I got the Packers. I understand the hype right now, especially because they're in that division, which is so obviously loaded. You're going to have 3 playoff teams in the NFC from the NFC North. They do look impressive. And with the Lions kind of trending down right now, I understand why everybody's just like, all right, well, you've got a team with a quarterback that everyone loves. It is a rising star. You've got one of the best running backs in the league. You don't have as many injuries on defense. You've got a defense that does take the ball away a lot. I don't know. And obviously, like we talked about last week about them not having maybe a true number 1 wide receiver. Romeo Doubs had a great game. Yeah. And I think, Reed and Christian Watson are great compliments to that
pass game. They make big plays
game.
when they need it.
Yeah. And so, I like Tucker Kraft, also fantastic tight end. So, I like them. I think they're good. I don't think they're as good as the team above them, though, in that division. And that is the next one, the Minnesota Vikings, which this is why, regardless, Sam Darnold aside, he made some risky, bad throws. He threw a pick yesterday. It was really ugly. And had a few other ones that probably should have been picked. Take all that away. Red zone defense. This team is so good.
Stout.
It is like the Bears should have scored on 2 different drives in the red zone that they didn't score touchdowns in. They just had to kick the field goal. I really, really like this defense. And I think Justin Jefferson is so good that he makes up for any skill that Sam Darnold might lack.
Yeah.
There are some catches he made yesterday that I'm like, all right, you missed it a little bit, Sam, but Justin Jefferson just dives like 15 yards to catch the ball. It's like insane the shit that he does. So, Yeah, and I Jordan Addison could be a number 1 on a bunch of different teams and is the number 2 there. So yeah, and of course you've got, Hawkinson. So they're great. I really, really like them. I think their momentum is trending up towards the playoffs. And if the Lions are truly as banged up as we think they might be, there's a chance for Minnesota to be the number 1 seed in the entire NFC.
That's true. That's something that a lot of people are talking about.
It's a dark horse situation because the Eagles would have to drop one and the Lions would have to drop just one now, I think, because I think they're tied for their records are the same. They've won 12 games.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings, and nobody's talking about them being a contender.
Yeah.
Which I guess,
scary sneaking into the playoffs like that too. Under the radar is right where you want to be.
And people say they don't pass the confetti test. I understand that. Sam Darnold holding up the trophy does feel weird, but I like them, and if we didn't expect the Lions to be this banged up.
Yeah.
We didn't expect the Eagles to even be this good. We thought maybe the Commanders were the team from that division for a while. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I believe in that team. Number 5, I got the Steelers all the way up here still. I don't think they looked great, but I do think they're a complete team, and in the AFC that doesn't look too strong to me right now. I still think the NFC is the better conference. At the moment, they have more teams that I'm scared of than the AFC. At least at the top,
Yeah.
And I do think that they're a scary playoff team. I think Mike Tomlin is such a battle-tested coach, such a smart coach that he never lets the floor drop out, and you never know where the ceiling is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I still think I'd be scared of them, and Najee Harris also is a beast. So, all right, number 4. Yeah, the Lions did have to fall all the way here. It sucks. I don't want it to be true. But
eat 'em up, Lions.
Yeah, it's without Montgomery, you just that backfield doesn't feel the same. Maybe it does, open it up to Jahmyr Gibbs just like being one of those top 5 running back guys on his own. I think he is that talented possibly, and he'll get the lion's share of the carries there. And I just worry about the red zone. You never know. They were always kind of running Monty down there.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But on defense, I don't know even what you do. I think you pray for the best.
Win shootouts.
Yeah.
They turn into the Bengals, kind of.
Yeah.
It's going to score 38 and hope that you can force a turnover.
Yeah. So I am worried for them. I'm not giving up hope on them.
No.
I still think there's a chance they make that magical run. I think it would be Mahomes-esque in a certain way because, you've got he played through the injuries, or like last year he had no wide receiver room and they won the Super Bowl. It's like, going into the playoffs, of course we're all discounting the Lions now, saying they're not going to be the team. Maybe they still will be. Who knows? Number 3, I got the Bills down here because I guess I'm just dedicated to the role of being the Bills hater on the show. I get a lot of angry DMs from people being like, they better be number 1. And that made me not want to do it. That made me, maybe they are the best team in the NFL. I don't know. But for me, they're the 3rd best because I just think it's Josh Allen and what army?
Yeah.
That's my question is Josh Allen and what army?
After giving your speech about how Shakir stepped up and Kincaid's
he's great.
good and James
fantastic
Cook
wide
good.
receiver.
Yeah.
James Cook is awesome.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen and what army? All right. And number 2. I got the Eagles here. It's just, I just like shocking people, I think is what it is. But
that's not shocking that the Eagles are there.
It's shocking who's at number 1, I think. All right. And and then let's just do it. Number 1. I don't even want to talk about the Eagles. Yeah, I got the Chiefs back at number 1 because, listen, the only thing scarier than Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes with a fake high ankle sprain. Okay, and I think it looks real. It looked like that hurt. The thing that happened, it looked like it hurt.
Defensive lineman rolled on the backside of him.
But and I'm going to this is the thing, whatever. They're now a sleeping giant again. Okay, I think they sit Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're the 1 or the 2 seed. It really does not matter. I know that they're great in Arrowhead. Guess where else they beat the Bills every year in the playoffs?
In Buffalo.
In Buffalo. It doesn't matter where they play them. I think they might just beat them because that's how it usually goes. And Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, I'd rather him have 3 weeks of sitting, resting that ankle.
That's a good point.
just get it. Just do. It doesn't matter what happens. You'll probably win those games by 2 points anyway.
Yeah.
You put Carson Wentz in and whatever. It's like I just think the script always works out like this. If you had the Chiefs at 6 today, you know,
Yeah.
I know you didn't end up putting them there. You had them there. Guess where they were on everybody's power rankings going into the playoffs last year? Around the same.
6,
They were
7,
10-6 or 10-7 or
Yeah.
11-6, whatever they were. But nobody expected them to win the Super Bowl last year. Not a lot of people are picking them to win the Super Bowl this year. I think they're 4th in odds right now. The Bills are now number 1, and the Eagles and Lions are both above them as well. So it's just like, yeah, don't discount the team that always does this and always goes into the playoffs with a banged up Patrick Mahomes and a bunch of wide receivers that you never heard of and still wins.
Yeah.
That's what you know. Travis Kelce could be 48 right now,
Yeah.
and they'd still put him out there, and he'd have like 80 yards and a bunch of catches that mattered a bunch, like 3rd and 36. Throw it to Travis Kelce.
I will say, going into the playoffs, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, that's a legit room.
And Noah Gray.
Yeah, Noah Gray, who's great.
Yeah.
And a healthy Pacheco.
Yeah.
If they can limp into the playoffs, limp in with 1 or 2 losses or whatever,
Yeah.
with that wide receiver room, that's sketchy.
Yeah. I said this the other day. I think we were at the bar and we were just talking about football. And I was like, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. I hate to say it. I wish it wasn't true. But if I was a betting man, which I am not, I would put my money on the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl again. It just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
We're watching all these teams rise and fall right now. We're seeing the Lions trend down. We're seeing, the Packers trend up. We're seeing the Eagles become now a favorite. The Bills become a favorite. All of this just happens right around the obvious team in the middle, which is always the Chiefs. And it sucks that it might end up that way, but it'll be thrilling again because we're going to watch a hurt Patrick Mahomes win the Super Bowl probably.
Bundle Rooski Doo.
Bundle Rooski Doo.
Great job, man.
Thanks, man.
That was week 16 stuff.
It was, going into week 16.
Right.
Yeah, those following week 15. Those were our power rankings. What are your power rankings? Let us know where we messed up downstairs. And also, we got our predictions coming out. We also have another. Those come out Thursday. We got an episode coming out probably this week.
Yeah, it'll be ready on Wednesday. It could be out this weekend. So
All right, The More You Know.
Yeah, NFL
episode
edition.
2. That'll be coming out.
And an exciting collab coming up on this channel later next month. So keep your eye out for that.
If you follow me on Twitter, it'll actually be next month, right?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay, yeah. In January, if you all follow me on Twitter, it's kind of been spoiled maybe a little bit, but you guys should be excited about that one. That'll be awesome. We did put a video out on the main channel yesterday, Best Tweets of All Time Tier List. Put a video out on our Patreon and for our YouTube members on the main channel today that is more tweets. And there will be other stuff coming out. And thank you so much. Joy, joy, joy. Life is beautiful. Mm-hmm.
And go Browns.
Yep. As always, go Browns. Go Lions. Heal up, Lions.
Heal up,
and we'll see you in the next one.